Isaac!
Hello, my name's Dan. Welcome to Dan Does. Today Dan does sculpting. What am I sculpting, you ask? Little tiny Isaac from the brilliant game The Binding of Isaac. That's what I'm doing. This is the beginning segment. The actual crafting bit will be the sandwich filling, and I will be back at the end to finish off the sandwich with another segment just like this, which we're going to call the bread segment. So please enjoy the video. I hope to see you at the end. Do hang around. Thanks. Hello, welcome to my first ever YouTube crafting stream. Today I'm going to be making a tiny Isaac, and I'm going to be using cosclay Sculpt medium firm, because in my personal opinion it is the best polymer clay there is. Being a relatively clumsy person, I often drop things. You can drop a cosclay Sculpt and 76% of the time it will not break, because when it's baked it retains flexibility. I'm not a fully trained statistician, if that's the word, so don't hold me to this. 75-76%, something around that area. I have just checked Google, and apparently the word is statistician, not statistician, which is much harder to say in my opinion. 36% of people agree. I'm rambling, so I've made 3 tiny tangerine shaped balls. I'm only going to be using one of them for now, but the other 2 are for a surprise later on. These that I'm using for eyes are drawing pins. Push pins. You can find them anywhere. I mean, you could just use little balls of clay, but I'm quite lazy, so you can dig those in, use the ball stylus there to make the sockets, and then poke his eyes in. I don't know the official name of this tool. We're going to call it a gouger. I'm going to use it to carve out Isaac's upturned mouth, his little sad mouth, because he's a sad little boy, is Isaac. Wouldn't you be? He's in the nude all the time. Next, we're on to the ball stick. I think it's a ball stick. I don't know. We're gonna use this to smooth out the inside of his mouth. Get it nice and smooth in there. Doesn't have to be too neat because it's going to be painted black later on. Spoilers, but we just sort of smooth that edge out for our own peace of mind, really. Next, we're on to the tiny little sausages. These would be the equivalent to a Barbie sausage if you were making Barbie scale food. We're going to use these to give Isaac some emotion. You'd expect emotion. The poor boy's been chucked into a basement in the nude, and the only defence he has are his tears, if ever there was a sadder state of affairs. We'll place the sausages just above his eyes, otherwise known as the brow. We'll have them slightly turned down at the sides to express misery. But please do enjoy the video. Let's not depress ourselves. One more sausage here. This would be a good quality sausage, slightly fatter than the last 2. We're gonna put this just below his mouth, as an outturned lip. As if he wasn't looking sad enough. Take out your wedge-shaped silicone tool thing, the flat one, and jab him in the lip a few times. Just give him a bit more realism on this wholly unreal looking character. And then smooth it out with the pointy rubbery silicone tool thing, because we don't want any harsh lines. We want smooth edges. I have put this rubber glove on because this is the we're gonna rub this thing down with isopropyl alcohol just to get rid of any fingerprints. We don't want any evidence lying about. Nothing that could incriminate us. Am I right? After baking the thing, following the instructions on the packet, you may notice that the push pins have slight cracks in them, which is fine. it can be used to good effect if you like, but we won't see those when the thing is done. Spoilers! Next you want to roll a pea of clay. We're going for marrow fat here, not your regular garden pea, it's slightly larger. This is going to be Isaac's torso. And then we're going to make 2 popcorn kernel sized balls of clay ready for the legs. And continuing along with the semi-realism theme, we're going to give Isaac an adorable little butt crevice. Everybody needs a butt. 2 more sausages for arms. When you attach these arms, you can go crazy. You can do what you like. Have fun with it. You can have one pointing to the left, to the right, up. You can attempt to cross his arms, hands on hips, bit of sass. Really, I mean, it's up to you. The world is your oyster when it comes to Isaac arms. And it's time to bake the torso, and Cosclay recommends that you bake it for 30 minutes at 275 degrees Fahrenheit or 135 degrees centigrade per quarter inch, whatever that means. Here is a sanding stick or a nail file, depending on what you use it for. I'm going to sand the very top of Isaac's torso to make it flat, and the underside of Isaac's head to make that also flat. Ready to be attached. This is the point where the video gets just a little too masculine with well, not a power tool, but you know, it depends wholly on your physical strength. I'm going to make a hole in the underside of Isaac's chin and attach some steel wire that I purchased from Wilko if you're in the UK. Next, fill the hole with potentially the cheapest superglue in the world, and then take your steel wire and skewer him and wave his mounted head about like some kind of trophy, and be oh so proud of yourself. Next, muster the strength of your forefathers and cut that steel wire. Then drill a hole in the top of his torso, attach the head with some more cheap-ass super glue, and Isaac is whole once more. Hallelujah. Now Isaac, being inexplicably top-heavy as he is, he will need a base. Now I'll give Isaac a gentle foot rub before viciously stabbing him in the sole of his feet with the pin vise once more to attach another bit of steel wire. Ready to mount him on this tiny little wooden disc that I bought from a British shop called The Works. It was a selection of small wooden discs. They're great little things and relatively cheap, because if they weren't, I wouldn't have bought them. Out with the cheapo superglue once more. I believe I bought 17,000 of these for £1. But it does the trick, especially when it's mixed with just a little bit of bicarbonate of soda. And there he is, little Isaac, looking like a stone monument to all children dumped in basements everywhere. It's painting time. Time to give Isaac a bit of colour in his cheeks, using my wet palette that has seen better days. But it works. I'm using Vallejo model colour paints. We're going to go for Brown Rose, which I'm sure you'll agree is the most attractive of the rose range. If you truly love somebody, give them a brown rose. Just slap that paint on. You can be as messy as you like, it really doesn't matter. This is basically a base coat. And when it comes to skin tones, the more colours the better, to be honest. Look at your skin right now. It's not one tone, is it? There's all kinds of things. There's veins, there's freckles, there's a big dark brown mole. Where the hell did that come from? Jesus, that wasn't there yesterday. Next layer of highlight is Pow Flesh, because let's be honest, he's a very Pow boy, is that Isaac? He lives in a basement, and if you do particularly well with him, he lives in a catacomb and goes ever deeper. And what is the correlation between all these places? No sun. Very little vitamin D in Isaac. Despite the many pills he takes, he does like a pill. Next we're on to the black, which will really make his eyes pop. We want those eyes to pop, and paint the inside of his mouth there. as I mentioned earlier. We did smooth that sucker out, but you won't see much when it's painted black. Next colour in the Vallejo model paint range is Carmine Red. Carmine Red, everybody. We're going to mix that with the Pale Flesh and the Brown Rose to get a lovely lip tone. And we're going to want to blend. A little wet blending. Use that wet palette, people. Use it to its potential. When we get a mixture of tones, we want to blend it in as best we can. Which, to be honest, I didn't do so well. Looking at the final result. Spoilers! Also paint that base black, which is a tedious process, but you got to do it. Now, the fun bit. This is Fimo Effect translucent clay. We're only going to need a tiny bit of this. And be warned, if you have dirty fingers, as I'm sure you do, this stuff will pick it all up. But for this project, luckily that's fine. It actually works. I have placed a Pixies tear mount onto a palette knife and am using the heat gun to save walking down the stairs and putting it in the oven. Now, if you could reveal your art shiv and cut a very thin strip of this stuff. What we're looking for is a disgusting fingernail. You don't need to be a trained dentist for this part, but it does help if you could cut the strip to fit Isaac's mouth, and then we're going to cut individual teeth. Tiny, tiny little teeth. This shot glass is from a pack of 10 or something from the pound shop. Very handy. Turn it upside down. We're gonna fill it with not vodka, but super glue. Equally tasty. Don't drink super glue. Don't drink vodka. Well, you can. You're your own person, unless you're underage. I'm rambling again. We're going to place all those teeth in delicately with some tweezers, and then we're going to use some Vallejo flesh wash to stain those beautiful pearly whites. Unsatisfied with the stainage, I'm going to add a little sepia shade. And now we're on to the UV resin stage, which I'm a huge fan of UV resin. I love the bloody stuff. It works as a gloss, as a glue, and no, that's it. Use a bit on his eyes and use a bit on his teeth to lock those suckers in, and make sure you're using a brush you don't particularly care for, you know, one that may have offended you in the past. And now it's time to cook him using one of these Now Salon UV light thingies that are relatively cheap on the Amazon. We're going to let Isaac soak those rays for a bit, let that UV resin harden, and he'll come out looking slightly healthier. Waste not, want not is what every annoying person would say. We're going to use the UV resin in the shot glass and add just a drip of blue wash. I've accidentally squirted too much in there, but waste not, want not. So I go ahead and I use this wash UV resin mix anyway to make Isaac's bluey blue tears. I mean, those tears are too blue, but the thing with UV resin is when it's on, it's on. And that's it. Here's the results. Remember the other two balls I made? Well, if you can make Isaac, then you can easily make these two also, using red instead of blue resin. Hello again, thank you for surviving this long in my very first video. I plan to do more. If you'd like to see more Binding of Isaac stuff, then please let me know. YouTubers always say leave a comment, like and subscribe, but I don't need to say that to you because you're clearly YouTube aficionados. Here's Isaac. Now I'm not going to be someone who just makes things and then says they're brilliant, because I can see mistakes with this. I should have burnished it for longer. Now burnishing is something that potterers, pottery makers, people who do pottery, they burnish things, they smooth them out. Now if you look, you probably notice the back of Isaac's head is a bit dented, but you know, it would be dented. He's in that basement fighting all kinds of shit with just his tears, just your tears. And then we got the gaper, slightly meaner looking than the actual gaper is in game, but I like him. Just with the blood instead of the tears. And then we've got the cyclopean. Just a few teeth. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll do more whether you want me to or not. So thank you very much. Have a good day.